Hello, my name's Tim. Welcome to Tim Burbage Reads, and today I'm going to be doing a book review for Noughts and Crosses by Mallory Blackman. This is a beautiful puffin special edition. First of all, it says, the Noughts and Crosses series are my favourite books of all time, from Stormzy. And let me just read the blurb for you. Seffi Hadley and Callum McGregor have been friends since childhood, and they both know that's as far as it can go. Theirs is a world full of prejudice, fear and mounting violence, where noughts and crosses are fated to be enemies. Then, against all the odds, these star-crossed lovers choose each other. But this is a love story that will lead them both into terrible danger. It says, the most original book I've ever read, from Benjamin Zephaniah, and there's a quote here on the back. You're a nought and I'm a cross, and there's nowhere for us to be, nowhere for us to go where we'd be left in peace. That's why I started crying, for all the things we're never going to have. Wow. So this was first published in 2001, and I knew it was a very important series, but I never read it growing up. I just missed it. I don't know why. I just missed it. It was adapted into a BBC series a few years ago. I watched both series of that. The first series was very good. The second series was short. It was only like 4 episodes, and it felt like it was just finishing what they hadn't managed to do in the first series, you know. There were some changes made between the series and this book. This is billed as Romeo and Juliet, but I think it's so much more than that. In this world, Africa was the dominant culture. So Africa dominated the culture, and the slavery trade happened, but it was white people being slaves, not black people. Black people are called crosses, white people are called noughts. This is set in the modern world, you know, shopping centres, jobs, cleaning, bills, tax, things like that. But in this world, we live in this very racist society, with the crosses being so dominant and the noughts being very much second-class citizens, but not legally slaves anymore. We still live in a world where noughts are criminalised. One of the characters is watching the news. They say, a nought criminal did this, a nought criminal did that. But if a cross criminal does anything, if a cross does anything wrong, it's not brought up. It's just they were a person. You know, a nought is an extra notifier of this is a different kind of person than the standard you're expecting. We have Seffi and Callum are the two main characters. We spend all the time in their heads. We go between them. Each chapter goes between them. We do have jumps in time in this. They start off very young. I think Callum is 14, 15, and Seffi is 13, I think. I think there's a 2-year age difference between them. But we do grow up with them, and they end up being adults by the end of the series. This is billed as YA. I think it's so much more than that. I think this is so much more than that. Every adult should read this. The love story is the centre of this, but the world itself is so rich and so vivid, and what the characters go through is so traumatic and heavy. This isn't really a love story. This is an attempted love story, but the world beats them down at every opportunity. Seffi is the cross, and she is very privileged. Her dad is a big politician. I think he's trying to be Home Secretary or something like that. Huge politician, but behind the curtain of her privilege is not a very nice life. Her mum is a raging alcoholic. She lives in a broken home. Nobody talks to each other, and she has to deal with everything by herself, apart from her best friend Callum, who is a nought. Callum's mum used to work for Seffi's house as a housekeeper. That's what the prologue considers. Callum is a great look into young male rage, because the world is unfair. The world is so fundamentally unfair against him, and he is trying to do his best to work into this world. Callum is in a group of noughts who are the first to go to a cross school past the age of 14. There are trials and tribulations involving that. But it's so much more than just a school drama. There's microaggressions, there's macroaggressions, there's alcoholism, terrorism, the justice system, education, privilege, poverty, power, and love. This book covers so much, and it does it so brutally honestly. It can be hard to read at times. This shows how life could be fundamentally unfair. Malorie Blackman is a huge voice in the black community in Britain. She's written lots of children's fiction. She's written this Noughts and Crosses series, which I think is 5 books. She's also written for television. She was the first black woman to write for an episode of Doctor Who, and she wrote all about Rosa Parks. She is an MBE, I think, and is a huge voice for women and for black women in Britain. She is a pillar of the community. This book is incredible. This book is so good. I'm finding it really hard to put my thoughts together on this because there's so much to discuss. A very small part of this, which shows that Malorie Blackman is a great writer, is that noughts and crosses are discussed continuously throughout this book. Crosses, when the word cross is written, it is always capitalized, like a proper noun, like a name. Noughts is never capitalized. Noughts aren't a proper noun. You're not a person. You're just a noun. You're the same as a chair. You don't capitalize a chair. You don't capitalize a bench. You're the same as that. That's throughout the whole book. All those little details make the bigger picture much more deeper and more intricate than this book has any right to be. This is incredible. This was the last book I read in 2024. What a banger to finish on. 5 stars from me. I need to read the rest of this now. This book is so good. Why did I take so long to read this? What an idiot. Anyway, have you read this book? Have you watched the BBC show? Please let me know in the comments below. Please give this video a like. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one. Now, what you need to do is get out of my house!